Hi guys, Sarah Diligence here. Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please hit the subscribe and the like button. And if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, please feel free to also go back and watch those. Right, so the reason I'm making this video is because my Vbac testimonial story has just been blessing a lot of women out there, and I have had so many comments. If you're currently pregnant and you've had 1, 2, 3, some of the women that have watched the videos that have messaged me are on their 4th C-section, so it doesn't matter if you've had 1 or multiple C-sections, please go back and watch my testimonial video regarding how I had my Vbac after 3 C-sections. I had 2 Vbacs after 3 C-sections. So yes, it is possible, even here in the UK, against all odds. I had doctors, midwives, I had consultants saying to me that they don't think it's possible. In my testimonial, I also mentioned the fact that the consultant who was looking after me throughout that whole time, I got to 37 weeks and she tried to turn me down and bring my, and basically just take the hope away from me regarding having that natural birth. But by the grace of God and with the support that was around me, I was able to push through and prove them wrong and break a record, and also surprise them in knowing and understanding that actually if you give a woman a chance, she can do it. Okay, so again, this is just a word of encouragement for all of you who are watching this video who may not have watched my testimonial video just yet. Like I said, please go back and watch that. And yeah, so today I'm actually going to just be talking about how to increase your chances of having a Vbac. And these were just a few of the things that I know that I had to do in order to ensure that I was actually going to have a successful Vbac, and also ensure that they were not going to be able to throw me off, which they did, because you get to 37 weeks and you're looking forward to this Vbac, and then you get told, sorry, we don't think you're going to be able to do it, or we're not going to allow you to do it. And they planned a C-section for me on the day that I actually went into labor. My C-section was planned for the 31st of March and I gave birth on the 31st of March. So ladies, if you have an elective C-section date, all hope is not lost. You can still have a successful Vbac. Okay, right, so I'm just going to give a few pointers here. All right, again, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not a practicing midwife. I would love to be a doula. However, I am not qualified in the medical area of childbirth and all that in that area, but I am qualified in the area of childbearing. Like most of you watching this video. So yes, so the first thing that I just want to say to you, if you are in the position that I was in a few years ago, is understanding your previous pregnancies. Okay, looking at it, analyzing it, what went wrong. Why did you have to have a C-section? Was the baby breech? Was it due to medical? Was it due to the fact that you wasn't dilating? One of the things that I know that a lot of women do, which I have advised countless of women, is wait. Don't rush off on the first sign of labor. You have to wait it out. So again, understanding your previous pregnancies. If you've only had 1 pregnancy, you've had 1 C-section, what happened with that pregnancy? Why did they decide to cut you open and initiate a C-section for you? Okay, again, understanding your body regarding your previous pregnancies as well, that is definitely something to look out for. If you have access to your medical reports and you can get those, then I would advise doing that, because I do feel like it's a major factor, and it can help you to understand what happened. Because after we've given birth, a lot of the time we tend to not go back and look at our pregnancy notes and look at what they wrote. That happened to me when I was 37 weeks regarding with my on my about to embark on my 4th C-section, was when the consultant said to me, she pulled out my notes and she said, "Oh, Sarah, you know, I just want to let you know that your uterus is thin, the line is thin. So on that basis, on that note, we will not allow you to have a C-section." And remember, she said a Vbac. She said we will not allow you to have a Vbac based on the fact of those notes. So the reason why I say understanding your previous pregnancies is one of the first things you probably want to do is because you don't want to get to the consultant and they shock you with such information. Imagine if she said that to me and I said, "Thank you, consultant, I know." What would she have been able to say to me then? She would only been able to give me some kind of rebuttal, you know, and then I would have had my own rebuttal to give back to her. But then that left me devastated. It left me in a position I'd never felt such pain and emotional distress before. So in order to avoid having that type of pain and emotional distress, go back, look at your previous pregnancies, analyze them, and see what could be the cause of these C-sections that you are having. Like myself, what could be the cause? What was the cause of the C-sections I was having? My babies were quite big, and I just wasn't dilating fast enough. You know, just different things like that. And again, being, you know, going for an elective C-section, one thing I found was the fact that you have to know your cycle, because based on your cycle, you know, they tend to say that kind of depends on how far you go on in pregnancy. So I think at the time I had a 26, 27, 20, in between the 26 and 28 day cycle. So I was actually gonna go past a 39 week period. When I was doing some research back then, anyone with a 30+ day cycle, you are actually likely to carry for 42+ weeks. So on the 39th week, on the 40th week, and they're saying to you, "Sorry, the baby's just not coming," that's actually not true. It's just your time is not yet here. The longer your cycle, the longer you have to wait for labor. And if you didn't know that and you're just finding that out now, hit the like button, because I'm sure that's some information that they just don't tell us. Okay, I had to find out the hard way. All right, so that was the first thing, understanding your previous pregnancies. The second thing is knowing your scar. Okay, and you're probably thinking, "Sarah, what do you mean knowing your scar? It's on me, it's never going to go away." Understanding the type of scar that you have. Is it still sore? Are you still feeling pain down there? When you laugh, can you still feel it? When you press it, what kind of pain do you feel? When you pull and stretch it, does it feel like it's sort of like tearing? Does it feel a little bit irritated? So things like that. Understanding your scar, ladies, is so important, because then you can kind of gauge whether or not you're going to have complications in that area. All right, again, if you've had a C-section previously, you know, I would definitely advise you to really look into that. Get a scan on your scar, get them to, you know, look at, when you go for a scan, ask them to look at your uterus lining to see how thick, thin, what's happening around there. Does it look like there's any tissues that haven't like healed and stuff like that? So, you know, that will be the second advice that I would give women. Again, I was always quite conscious of my scar. You know, I was like, okay, I don't feel anything there. I'd press it, you know, it didn't cause me any pain. And it just kind of gives you a confidence to know that, you know what, that scar is, you know, it's extremely important, because that's where we've been cut numerous of times. For some of us, only once, but regardless, we've been cut there. And it's and it could still be extremely delicate and extremely tender. Or, you know, some women heal extremely quickly and extremely well. Again, it depends on who operated on your C-section, who gave you that C-section. Was it someone who cut you properly? Who you know? I remember not being sliced. I was torn basically, because the consultants that did the operation for me said that if you tear the stomach and the uterus lining, if you tear it, then it heals a lot better, whereas some people just literally kind of have a slice and then you get it. So it varies from woman to woman. Okay, I really don't want this video to be too long, because I do want you to watch every part of it and get as much information from it as possible. Okay, the third thing that I would say, then my number 3 thing that I would say, is your state of mind. Okay, you have to be in a good place to have a Vbac after multiple C-sections. Okay, you cannot be in one of those heavily emotional places. You can't be weak-minded, because, you know, if you want to progress throughout, you have to be strong. You have to know who you are. You have to keep telling yourself positive things. You have to stay in prayer. I kid you not. Okay, you have to stay prayerful about the whole about your situation, and about your C-section, and about your VBAC. Okay, about not having a C-section. And if that is something that you want, I've had comments from the community, and you know, like I said, go back and watch my testimonial video. Some of the comments that these women have said and have made will bless you. Okay, I had one recently, and she said that she's on her fourth C-section, and she's not having a C-section this time round. And you know what, it's possible. It's possible. A lot of the times women of faith are coming on there, and they're leaving you know, beautiful messages that just continue to inspire me as an individual. So I'm sure it will inspire you also. All right, okay, so the next thing that I would say, the fourth thing I would say, is your team. The team that you have around you is very, very important. I don't care what anyone says, you can't do this on your own. Okay, you just cannot do it on your own. All right, if you are married, your husband needs to be in line with you on this, because a lot of the times, you know, they just want us to be safe. They just want the best for us. They want us and baby to be safe. So depending on how you start to fall on the day of labor could definitely determine on what stance your team takes. So if it's your mother-in-law, your sister-in-law, your sister, a really close friend, your partner, your husband, whoever it may be, your doula, they have to be in line with you. You all have to be in alignment and in agreement and understanding, and they have to understand that you do not want a C-section. Okay, because we will get to that. Well, you know, I didn't, because like I said, it's a mental thing, and you have to fully process this in your mind and say that this is it. You're not gonna go back on yourself. Okay, unless you fall into serious complications. Okay, I mean, look, I'm not saying that C-sections are like this terrible thing, but the whole purpose of you watching this video now is because you want to attempt to have a VBAC. The whole purpose of me back then was I wanted to attempt a VBAC, and I didn't just want to attempt a VBAC, I wanted to have a VBAC. So if you want to attempt a VBAC, then you know, you're probably just going to be 50-50. If you want a VBAC, then you're going to go all the way. Okay, however, you don't want to put yourself and baby at risk. Okay, everybody wants to leave the hospital holding their child, going home, and happy endings. Okay, so if it gets to the point where there are major complications and it's just not working, it's okay to have a C-section at the end of it. Okay, at least you tried it, right? And you know, it's not something that you should beat yourself up about. All right. And again, as well, I just want to say to all the women who have had multiple C-sections and you've been told that you cannot have a VBAC, okay, the most important thing is that you can have a child. Okay, that's the most important thing. The most important thing is that you're going to be a mother, whether you deliver naturally or whether you deliver by a C-section. You're going to be a mum. I also want you to remember that and keep that close to your heart, that you know, at the end of the day, a child is coming, and one way or the other, baby has to come out. Okay, then the fifth thing I'm going to that I really want you to consider is your health. Okay, now if you know you're in, you know, I don't want to say ill health, but some women during pregnancy are actually just not that healthy. Okay, you've eaten all everything you could possibly think of that isn't good for you. Your health before that, your diet before pre-pregnancy was not that great. One thing I would say is, if you want to attempt a VBAC, the one thing I know that you have to do is get your health in order. You have to begin to take your supplements, you know, take those vitamins that will strengthen your body, that you can take during pregnancy, that will strengthen your body. Okay, also ensuring that you're taking the pre-pregnancy supplements throughout. That is one thing I will say. They say, oh, just take it for the first 3 months or the first 12 weeks, it's fine. No, take it throughout the whole of your pregnancy. It's only going to cost you an extra few quid. Keep taking them, keep buying them, and take them, because you just want as much strength as possible. You want to be strong on the inside, you want baby to be strong, and you also want to be strong on the outside. Okay, so when it comes to your health, exercising, strengthening your pelvic muscles, things like that, Understanding that a pregnancy is strenuous, so your body needs to be at a good place. You know, a lot of women end up going into labor, they lose a lot of blood, they exhausted, all that kind of stuff. So for us, we have to take extra precaution and be and just be, you know, as fit and as healthy as possible in order to go through this process that we're about to embark on. Okay, so your health, just look at your health, do what you can to, even, you know, if you're overweight, you can still attempt to lose a few pounds during pregnancy, but as long as it's not going to affect the baby, you know, maybe cut out some of the sugars, cut out some of the fats, start going for walks, start going for jogs. If you've got other children, take them to the park, go for runs, go for walks, things like that. So yeah, just your health, okay? Your health is important and it's key. And the next thing that I'd say is also the level of preparation for the big day, all right? You have to be extremely prepared for that big day. You don't just want it to just come on you and you're packing your bags and you're rushing your husband and you're calling your sister-in-law to say, come on. You want to be in a place where you're fully prepared, okay? And when I say prepared for your big day, I mean not running to the hospital at the first part of contraction. Seriously, because if you've had a C-section and you run to the hospital, the minute you're having contractions, they're going to cut you open. Okay, they're going to cut you open. And it's just one of those things where for me, it was so important to ensure that I went into hospital as late as possible. I mean, like I said, if you watch my testimonial video, I kind of explained it all in there. They came to the house, the midwives came to the house, and they were like, oh, you were supposed to come to hospital the other day. And I was like, oh yeah, thanks, but you know. And then they were like, are you having any contractions? Are you any signs of labor? And I was like, you know, just having a little twinges here and there, blah blah, but nothing major. I was contracting like the whole time, right? But I didn't want to alarm them for them to, because remember, like I said, my C-section was planned for the 31st and they came around on the 30th. Okay, they came around on the 30th just to check up on me, and then I went into hospital and went into labor the next day. And a lot of women, you know, and this is why I say your mindset is so important, because the minute you start to have contractions, if you begin to raise alarms and start to get scared, your body's gonna feel it, the baby's gonna feel it, you know, the baby can feel your stress, your anxiety levels, and everything's just gonna be kind of all over the place, and that's what we do not want, okay? We don't want us to get all over the place. So yeah, level of preparation for the big day, and how you handle it. So that's another thing I'd like to say as well. And the other thing, another thing is the consultant that handles your care. Okay, I've had a lot of mothers from the United States or Saudi Arabia and the Caribbean as well, and here in the UK, message me regarding how to deal and handle consultants. And the only thing that I would say is they are the professionals. Yes, they are. However, they don't know you like you know you. Okay, they can only advise, but they cannot force. All right, so I know from communicating with a few women in the US that a lot of places turn women down after 2 C-sections. On the 3rd C-section, they're very skeptical, they're very weary, and so again, if you can opt for a home birth, maybe if your consultant is just outright not on the same side as you or doesn't want to get on the same page as you, you could probably opt for a home birth if that's allowed. I know from another subscriber, she messaged me and said that in her part of the Caribbean, that is just not allowed either. After you've had 2 C-sections, they won't let you opt for a home birth, and they won't let you opt for a Vbac. So they're practically forced to have a C-section, and that kind of does break my heart, because like I said, there are women out here attempting Vbacs on their 4 C-sections. I attempted a Vbac on my 3rd C-section, so it's kind of like heartbreaking, the fact that at 2 C-sections, some places in the world are just like, sorry, we're not going there. So yes, ladies, so those were the main things for me that I felt helped increase my chances of having a successful VBAC. Not just having a successful VBAC, but also showing the consultants in the part of the UK, in the part of London that I was in and the hospital that I was in, that it can be done, and they should not discriminate us just because we've had multiple C-sections. Doesn't mean that we should be completely ruled out on having a VBAC, okay? So I really hope this video has helped you. I have been promising to bring out more content regarding VBACs and births and labour and all that kind of stuff, and motherhood, and I will be making more videos. I will be bringing out more content soon, speaking about other complications and different things that we do go through as mothers. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel, Purposeful Life. And again, if you like this video, please leave your comments in the comment section. Share with me your thoughts. If you have had a successful VBAC, if you're going to have a successful VBAC, please just share your comments to the community, because believe me, it's a major blessing to read. All right, take care. Bye-bye.